want the videos to be too long. You want me to say what I'm doing here?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm just taking a little bit out because I need to make room for this. This is perlite, and the browner one is vermiculite. The perlite is mostly there just for aeration and drainage, and it does hold a little bit of water. And the vermiculite is mostly there to expand, keep everything from kind of like a
keep it from clumping.
Moisture control.
Yeah.
It releases moisture when it gets too dry, and then it absorbs moisture, excess moisture in the mix.
So this is coco coir with a little bit of vermiculite and a little bit of perlite already in it.
But I'm gonna add more.
We're gonna add a little more. So that's what we're doing. We're making our potting mix, so to speak. This is just regular coco coir that we ordered online.
Mm-hmm. You can find it on anywhere, Amazon,
eBay.
It comes in a brick. You expand it. You add water, it expands, and it's a little bit of work. You have to, break it up by hand. It's not like that peat, which.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of show the difference between that stuff and the coco coir. See, this stuff here it's okay, in the
good for amending.
Yeah.
It's good for pods.
But you can see this stuff gets real dry, and maybe in another video we'll do like a demonstration about how this stuff kind of gets hydrophobic, like how my brother was explaining. Maybe we'll do that in a separate video so that people can kind of understand. This stuff just it's okay for certain things. I use it for certain stuff, but
I don't have like a recipe or anything, but I try to do equal parts vermiculite and perlite, and then I just you can kind of tell by the hand, like it sticks together, but it falls apart with a small amount of pressure. That's kind of really the only. There's no like. There are recipes online, but I've always just done it by feel. And so, if anybody's wondering what this is a concrete mixing bucket. They're a little expensive, maybe $20-$30 online. They work pretty good for mixing. For a long time, I used the Rubbermaid, I don't even know what those are called. I think they're just called. Oh, okay, they're not Rubbermaid. They're Sterilite. I don't know.
It doesn't say. But
it doesn't say what they are, but
those are the dimensions on that one. If anyone's interested in that.
I mean, if you want to start small and not you just want to get your feet wet, you can really use anything. But these are thicker plastic.
They're pretty durable.
And you can keep your soil mixes, at a comfortable level. I have a bad back, so I don't want to be hunched over for hours. So this is how I do it.
Yeah. This is just a quick view. I've shown this in other videos, but kind of barely. This is kind of our nursery area, which is just a couple tables. We got some amendments and stuff, potting soil, things like that. And then along the wall here this is more of my collection. Bunch of really rare, exotic stuff. But back in the day, we did a lot of figs. That was kind of the thing that we did a lot of, and
figs are really fun, you guys. You can do a lot of stuff with them. It's a really nice beginner-friendly tree to try to grow, to propagate. It's a lot more forgiving than a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, I guess just to clarify is like you don't need to do all this stuff that we do, but again, it's just from our experience. It's just gives us better success. But I remember even back in the day, there wasn't that much information back, when we started. There wasn't a lot to go off of. I mean, I remember there was a few videos that we saw, and the guys just kind of take cuttings and stick them straight into the ground. You remember?
Yep.
You remember some of those? And some people have success doing that, but this is.
If you're doing it just for fun, and you're not worried about, you're not worried about it too much. You just want to experiment, or maybe do something with your kids, show them something interesting. Yeah, it's you can make it as low stress as you want.
Yeah. Yeah, we've always done this stuff for fun.
Yeah.
No one's paying us to do it. We don't make any money off of it. We've always done it for fun. I guess on a little side note, while he's mixing up the dirt, it's probably like these are going to be the first videos where I'm actually talking and explaining stuff. But this is a pretty cool one. We're down here in Southern California. I'm doing some ultra tropicals like this durian right here. I got a couple durian trees. This is a little seedling. I believe this is like an air layer. I don't think that's a seedling, but it might be. Purple mangosteen. I showed that one in another video. And this is a salak palm, snake fruit. This is kind of like my Southeast Asian collection, I guess. Maybe not this one. This is actually from there's another palm, Bactris. This is from South America. I got baobab, jamun, some hibiscus, starfruit tree right here, carambola. This is another cool fig right here. This is the elephant leaf, or I believe it goes by Ficus auriculata or Ficus roxburghii. It's a pretty cool one. Gives an edible fig. And they grow like in clusters. Look up some pictures online if you're interested in that. And just a bunch of other rare stuff that I got from Cameron from Bellamy Trees. This is Chromoleucuma. What is it? Chromoleucuma hojas gigantes, or giant leaf. Chrysophyllum imperiale, emperor's fruit. Bunch of anonas that I'm growing, trying to grow. Anyway, pretty cool stuff. That's like my Puteria collection. I've been really into the Puterias recently, so I have like a collection going on right there. Bunch of Mamey sapote trees. That's my favorite fruit.
You want to show them the difference? The difference between
Oh,
the
yeah.
two mixes? So this was the original mix that just had a little bit of perlite and vermiculite. So if I squeeze it, you're gonna see it's holding on to too much moisture, and it's a little too. It holds its shape too much. Even though it crumbles apart, it can be better. This would be okay. You could use this, but again, you saw that it retains a little bit extra moisture. So this one, because we added the vermiculite and the perlite, it's soaked up the excess moisture and it's retaining it. And if I do like a squeeze test, hopefully I did it right, and it holds together like a shape, but crumbles right apart with just the smallest amount of pressure. And if I squeeze it, there's no excess coming out. So that's what you want. You don't want. That's why we do it that way. And you just gotta. It's kind of like cooking. You gotta like get your hands dirty. You gotta look at it and mess with it, and you'll figure it out. This is just my opinion. I used to use straight up Miracle-Gro and I had some success with that. So this is just higher success rate.
It's what worked for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very nice dirt. This is really nice. Really, really nice. This is nice and fluffy. Has really great aeration. Falls right apart. If you know.
Yeah, I've been experimenting with some air layers. I've been using this more like just straight up coco core, maybe a little bit of perlite, but yeah, you kind of with an air layer you want it to retain a little more moisture because it's going to be on the tree for a while. But yeah, my brother turned me onto that. I was just using the cheap shit, perlite and vermiculite and all that, but it works. It's all right, but I've found it works a lot better. The jackfruit seedling. That one's just a couple months old. It's already pretty tall. A little close up of my mame zapotes. I grew these all from seed, and they're doing pretty good. So the canistel, egg fruit, Puteria torta, subspecies Gallifructa, chocolate pudding fruit tree.
I'm gonna put the root maker. I'm gonna assemble it.
All right. So these are the air layer or the root maker pots.
Yeah.
All cleaned up, all sterilized. Off camera.
These are a little tricky to put together by yourself. You're gonna need 2 zip ties per pot, and then you can use scissors. So this is how you put it. You want this side to be facing inward like this, and you want the cells to be facing down.
Okay.
I did a couple the wrong way when I first assembled these. So
yeah, so they have sort of a taper.
Yeah, they go down.
They kind of have like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see on camera, but
yeah. So
see how like they're kind of tapered downwards.
And what it's doing is it's encouraging it to grow, fan out. So, growing it like this wouldn't really do anything wrong. But they're designed to be like this. So, and then this needs to lay flat because this is going to be the bottom.
Okay.
So here we go. This is a little tricky to do by yourself. So what I like to do is I like to do the top cell first. And I just kind of bring it down like this. Hopefully I'm not doing this too fast. If you have somebody that can help you, these will go way faster, but if you're just by yourself, you can make it work. And then, so the first part is assembled, and then this part here, I just go through the bottom like this, and then you're gonna put the zip tie. Hopefully you guys know how to use zip ties, but I did used to get frustrated quite a bit because I would put the zip tie in wrong and then I'd have to start all over. Or if I didn't, you really want these to be as snug as possible, because if you see here how it flexes, okay. And this won't do anything. This is more of an aesthetic thing. But I used to be like really gentle with these, and I wouldn't tighten them. I wouldn't tighten them all the way. So, and the way I like to orient these is I like this to be pointed up like that, and then I like this to be kind of horizontal, because then it's not going to cause any for it to be lopsided. Yeah. When you put it in and then you just cut the excess off.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
Yeah. And then unfortunately, when you go to take your cutting out of this, you are going to have to cut this.
Yeah.
unless you want to, do the little thing where you pinch the inner release and then you can pull it out. But I'm not.
And we're just using.
I'm not gonna waste my time.
Yeah, we're just using standard zip ties. I think
It's the cheapest zip tie you can.
These are probably from Walmart or something.
Those are from Walmart. Yeah. I think they might be $5 for 100.
Yeah.
So you can do.
And
you can do 50 of.
You don't have to get them this long or anything.
No,
you can get them shorter.
Smaller,
you can.
Shorter. Those were just the ones that.
We have.
Those are just the ones that looked like they would be the easiest. You don't want them to be too small either, because then it's gonna be a struggle to try and get it in there, and so
yeah.
You don't want it to be too short either. So that's assembling them.
Pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the fact that you included that information of kind of leave this one horizontal that way.
It doesn't come with instructions, unfortunately. It comes with pictures, and you gotta kind of. It wasn't hard for me to find out, but I think I made a few of them the wrong way the first time.
So there's just another demonstration.
Yeah. It's
pretty straightforward.
Again, you might struggle on the first couple. And
I mean, he did that. He was able to assemble that one in just a couple of seconds. I mean, wasn't very difficult, less than 30 seconds probably. So
when they come from the factory, they are very rigid, and they're completely flat like this.
Oh, okay.
So the first time you're gonna assemble these, they are gonna be a lot harder to assemble, because these have this shape because they've already been used.
Yeah.
And that was probably why I struggled so much the first time, was that they were so rigid. These are very strong. The whatever material they use, I don't know. I'm assuming it's a high grade plastic. But they're very strong. And I forgot maybe one more tip. If you leave these assembled, they will break here.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why that happens. But I'm assuming.
You mean like after you're done using them and then you go to store them?
Yes, don't store them like this.
Oh, okay.
Because they will break here where they are bound.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's too much tension in this area, but you can still use it if just the first cell breaks.
Because you can just close it more.
You can still close it, but if both of these cells break, I don't know how you would do it.
Okay.
If you would have to modify this piece.
So anyone who's interested in these and using them, do not pre-assemble them and then just leave them stored somewhere.
Don't leave them there for a season out and exposed. We left these out here, and obviously they got dirty, but they're disassembled.
Yeah.
I wish I had a broken one to show you.
Well.
But they will break. They will break where they are assembled here for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Well, good pro tip right there.
Because these are a little bit pricey, and
yeah,
I don't want people to waste their money.
Yeah. And just to clarify again, you don't need to use these, but
no.
This is just our personal preference. This is all just based on our opinion and what works for us. So don't need anyone in the comments saying stupid shit, you guys recommended pots and they suck. Well, this is just our opinion. And,
I mean, you could say that, right? You can say whatever you want.
You can say whatever you want, but this is just our opinion. This is just from our own personal experience, and
this is for hobbyists. Yeah. If you're into the hobby and you want to grow something really crazy,
Yeah, and this will work for anything. You know, you don't
yeah,
have to just grow fig
yeah,
cuttings. You
I
can.
actually accidentally rooted an avocado pit, and then I put it into one of these, and it worked. I just transplanted it when it was. I also did one with a mango, uh, and it worked. Because I had thrown pits into our worm farm that we had at the time. It's actually right there.
Oh yeah, it's not being used right now,
but they self-germinated in the worm farm, and then they actually rooted.
Yeah.
And they grew. They grew into trees. So what they call those volunteers, right?
Yeah, volunteers.
Volunteer plant. Those are some of the funnier. Oh, I did this one the wrong way. See, I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, yeah. So
it's very easy to do it the wrong way, and then you'll lose.
So that's what he means. Is basically he was. This would be the bottom of the pot.
Yeah.
Because the taper is going downward, but he almost put it on the top, and it would have been upside down.
That's a good thing because then you're just gonna lose a zip.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose some zip ties and it's frustrating, especially if you.
You know, luckily right now we're only doing 4.
Yeah, we're going.
And if you got a big nursery and you got thousands of cuttings or thousands of seeds or even just a few hundred or whatever, if you have a bunch of plants you're trying to pot up.
There also are fiber pots. I haven't experimented with those, but I have heard that they also do a similar thing. That this does. Basically, the air prunes itself once it reaches the side of the pot.
Yeah, I've heard of those. I think they're also like coconut husk. Yeah. They almost look like a burlap sack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and those.
So if you don't want to mess with this, you can also try that out.
I know, like if you're gonna grow them and then you want to plant it straight into the ground, with those cocoa bags. I don't think you even have to take the plant out of the pot. You just bury it in the ground with the bag.
Yep. I would remove it.
Yeah.
That would be me though.
Yeah.
You don't want to give anything. You don't want to make it harder for the tree or plant that you're trying to grow. You know. But they are designed to do that.
Yeah, because they're supposed to just compost themselves. Yeah, but.
Right.
I've ordered plants online that have that. They have those biodegradable pots, but I end up just taking them out of the pot because I don't know. It's just personal preference, I guess. Like you said.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the Clonex next. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I want
to cut. Is that video getting too long? Do you want to cut, maybe?
No, I mean it'll be fine.
Okay. I know YouTube has a limit, so. It doesn't. I'm not sure if it tells you to do this on the bottle. Well, I just shake it. Just to make sure everything in there is not settled. Make sure the hormone hasn't somehow settled. I don't know what this hormone is. But if somebody out there who's more scientific than me knows, maybe you can let people know why this works.
So this is the Clonex gel.
So I just eyeball it, and this is just for cutting, so I'm not gonna do too much. It's about that much that I'm gonna do. I try not to waste it, just so that you get the most out of it. It's not.
So that's what it looks like. It's not
super expensive, but it's.
And he's just using a shot glass.
Yep, just
just a regular. I mean,
I've also used little dishes for ketchup. Again, this can be as cheap or as expensive as you want it to be, I guess. I need to moisten this tip.
Okay. pretty cool. These are all little tools that we use.
Okay. Oh, I almost forgot about a very important step. The scarification.
Okay, yeah.
So I keep a razor. I keep a razor here, especially for this. Let me just put this away. It
Yeah.
has some chipping in
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
This is just a razor, but it's specifically for this, and I'm pretty sure I sterilized this before I stored it, but I'm gonna go ahead and sterilize it again. I used to be afraid of this step because I didn't want to damage the cutting even more, but
Where'd you learn this particular step in the process?
there are tons of forums, rare fruit grower forums, and I just kept seeing people saying to scar, and I don't quote me on this, but I'm assuming what it does is, if you're using the rooting hormone, at least it gives it more surface area to make roots, because the roots are going to come out of this the green part right here. I don't know if I can get it, but there's a very thin layer of green there. That's actually where the roots are going to come out of. So, and they will come out of each node here too. So if you scar them and you expose that green layer, like this, you don't. It's a very small amount that you're scarring. You scar it about that much, and just to expose the green layer. And I do it all the way around the base of the cutting. And for whatever reason, I don't know why this works, but it does. But again, you're basically just taking the first layer of bark off. Like it's a very minimal. And then the great part about this is that we're gonna cover this in Clonex, so it's actually gonna seal all those cuts.
So that's where the brush comes in.
Yeah, this is where the brush comes in, and you just get that much, and you just apply it, and you're not contaminating your supply of your rooting hormone. And again, this is just the one that I like, the one that seems to do a really good job, and that's it. And you
let it dry, right?
I let this dry because I wanted to. If I go straight into the dirt, it would probably work, but I want this to actually form a little bit of a seal.
Okay.
So I just leave this alone for. You can leave it alone for as long as you want, but eventually you will come back and it will have a coating on it.
So, have you tried doing this like in the summertime? Is there a big difference between doing it like right now in the fall or in the summer?
We have an indoor rooting area.
Yeah. So
it's obviously it's more temperature controlled because the house is insulated, and it has a guaranteed amount of warmth. And I personally have not done this outside in the winter.
Yeah.
Again, you can really make this as experimental as you want, but I wouldn't see why this wouldn't work if you wanted to try this outside. If you wanted to have this be more of a, just a low, like a easy kind of experiment, you can just try things. Honestly, you don't have to do it this way. I'm just showing you, and hopefully you're seeing how I'm. This does take a little bit of practice, but it's just like stretching and then pulling, stretching and then pulling, and then I like to leave I like to bury about that much of a cutting, you know.
All right.
But it really doesn't matter. I've seen people bury it all the way up to the almost to the very top. I'm gonna actually buddy tape all these before I scar and coat the rest of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that other one was more of a demonstration on how to
Yeah,
apply the coating,
so I'm
the
actually gonna.
Clonex, but
Another thing for beginners is orientation of the cutting. So the way you'll know how it's supposed to be oriented, especially if you have one that obviously is correct, because um, you can easily accidentally orient it the wrong way.
so right now this is upside down.
This is upside down, and I have done this before.
Oh,
So I was actually going to just point that out. The way you know is this thicker node here that's more of I don't know, a semicircle little shape. That's actually the needs to be on the bottom, and this doesn't have any buds on this one doesn't have any buds on it, but you will sometimes see this tiny little bud here, and needs to be pointing upwards.
okay.
Yeah, so this one is good because it actually has a stem on it, so I actually know. A way to avoid that when you're making cuttings at home is the top you're gonna go at a angle, and then the bottom you're gonna go just flat,
Okay.
and then that way you'll know that this is the top and this is the bottom.
Yeah, just to not confuse yourself, you know,
Yeah.
in case. And
When you're doing a lot of these,
yeah,
and your eyes start, you start getting sleepy. Because I've done this into the night, and you can plant one upside down, and then unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do other than taking it out and disturbing the roots and starting over. But you can do that, and it's not a lost cause, but it's not ideal. So
yeah.
I'm trying to help new people who.
And how long have we been doing this stuff now?
Oh
man.
Well, the interest started in 2010, and we didn't start getting fully fledged until 2012. So,
About 13 years.
13 years.
So 13 years trial and error and figuring out what works for us.
You get to eat a lot of nice, delicious fruits that you might not be able to try in the store, because figs, unfortunately, they don't transport well, and they don't.
And they're not available all year, like apples or oranges or things like that.
You can get dried figs, but it's not the same. And there are some really good dry figs, and but fresh figs, are really great. They're one of my favorite fruits to have growing in your backyard, or however you want to be growing your garden.
Yeah, for us, we're out here in the desert, so this is a really good tree to grow out in the desert.
Figs are a really strong tree.
Yeah,
they can take a lot of stress. They can take a lot of heat.
I hate to call anything like bulletproof, but figs they're pretty tough.
They're really
They're actually a very very tough plant, So we kind of have like our certain trees down here that like are sort of guaranteed to grow. There's pomegranate, figs, and all your citrus, olives, date palms. All those plants are kind of acclimated to sort of desert Mediterranean climate, but we also like to push the limits a little bit, because we're in kind of an odd marginal climate. USDA zone 9B 10A, and here in town it's probably leaning towards the 10A kind of zone, because it's sort of a insulated microclimate. Farther out in the country it's a little bit colder, but we don't usually get frost down here. I mean, right now we're filming this, and it's a little bit overcast, but it's, you know, it's about, we're in the high 70s right now. It's close to 80 degrees right now. It's probably like 77 degrees.
Yeah, I've never seen snow, so.
Yeah.
I mean, here anyway.
Not down here. Don't snow down here. And
it does get very cold, and it actually goes colder than freezing.
Yeah.
But, that's probably once or twice.
Yeah.
In a year.
Usually around probably the coldest days or nights that we usually get are probably around like New Year's.
Yeah.
And but that's probably true for most places. So yeah, it's kind of like the.
So this cutting's a little awkward. So
All right.
I'm just, I'm just going down, making sure I kind of cross these little segments. Because actually I've heard that there's some train of thought that this is where the sites of the roots actually come out, or these little bumps and everything. So if we cross those segments, it's better. More rooting hormone gets into contact with the cambium, and it doesn't have to be perfect, I mean, as long as you're kind of like scraping it. Don't go all the way to the pith.
Okay.
That's not what you want to do. If you see white, you've gone too far. You just want the green part, basically.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I didn't do this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and do these. I'm doing this slow. If you have hundreds of cuttings to do, obviously you're gonna do this a little bit faster, probably quite a bit faster. But I'm not in a rush to do this, so I'm doing it as carefully as possible. So that's how it should kind of look.
I just want to get another close up right there.
I know that some people only scar one side, but I just do a small scar all the way around. A few small scars all the way around, and it seems to work. Again, this is, have fun with it, experiment. I used to do a lot of experimenting in the beginning. I would grow in moss, and you can actually grow straight up in water as well.
Did you ever try the willow water, like with the willow twigs?
So this is actually what is in willow. Was what I was told. This dip and grow. Unfortunately, this, for whatever reason, didn't work for me. I left them. You have to make a solution out of this, and the instructions are somewhere here. It even has instructions for hardwood, softwood, semi-softwood. I don't know. For me, this didn't work. The cuttings that I used this on, just they didn't work. I'm not saying it won't work, but they didn't work for me. So the Clonex has a really good track record with me.
And so you've also tried like the rooting hormone powder and all that before too, right?
Yeah. The rooting hormone powder, it does work. What I've noticed with the rooting hormone powder is that it kind of forms like a crust around it.
Yeah.
And it helps the callusing tissue form, but it doesn't have the nutrients, because this kind of has a little
This-
bit of nutrients
This
in
is
it.
just like more potent, huh?
It has, yeah. This is basically gonna sustain the cutting. It has stuff in it. I'm sure it's patented, whatever's in there. But it has a little. I was told that it has a little bit of some type of nutrient in it that keeps the cutting active.
Oh, okay.
So it sustains it. That's the way I was explained, or what I got out
from
of
your
the
research.
Yeah.
And
Kind of like this is like a little life support system
all
for the
right.
cutting. That's kind of like what I got from it. And I even go a little crazy, and I kind of put it on even the part that's not cut, because I figured if the hormone can penetrate into the skin of the bark or the bark of the tree, and it obviously performs a little bit of like a protective seal.
Right.
So this one's been drying. Oh, this one's been drying for a while, so that's what it should look like. It's nice and, glossy, kind of like, I don't know, barbecue or something. I don't know. And so this
Can I
is
see
not.
that?
Yeah, that's not, the rooting hormone has really soaked in.
Trying to get it to focus. It's like, oh.
Okay.
So that's it. And obviously he's gonna buddy tape this upper portion.
Yeah, that was just the first
Yeah, this was just the first example. And we're just kind of we're just trying to do like a sort of a deep dive into this, because I've noticed online there's not really a lot of in-depth videos talking about how to do this. And there's lots of forums, and there's lots of information out there on how to do this, and there's 1,000 different ways you can do it and be successful. This is what works for us.
This cutting is going to be really interesting because it has so many surface cuts, like
Yeah.
from the way I had to prune it. So this is going to be an interesting cutting because
it may shoot out a bunch of.
It's going to root. It should root from all these like really big cuts.
Yeah.
So I'll have to, when I do the reveal, I'm gonna have to look at this one and see if it rooted more than the other ones did.
So
the final few steps was potting and then tagging.
Right on. So we're gonna let these dry out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you actually do another coating, right, after it dries out and before you put it in the soil.
I put a second coating.
You put a second coating.
Because usually I have enough left over to put a second coating. You don't have to do that.
Right.
I just do that. I don't, because I can't.
You can't put that back in there, yeah.
Right.
So
might as well
make the most of it.
Make the most of it, yeah.
Well, that's cool. Maybe once those are done drying and we apply the second coat, we'll kind of show how to pot these up. That way I'll cut the video off right now.
All right. That sounds good to me.
Cool.